Hi. The best pain funnel questions asked at the wrong time will lose you a deal that you might otherwise have won if you'd asked them in the right order. Popular sales training company Sandler uses the term pain funnel questions to describe the questions a salesperson should ask. I'm going to show you today that their questions are good enough. If you master these good enough questions, you'll go a long way to succeeding in sales. And if good enough is good enough, then have a go at mastering pain funnel questions. But if you want to excel and to align sales and marketing, then you'll need to master one more skill. More of that in this week's show. Here are the questions straight from Sandler.com. Just read through that list of questions. They're not simple. As clearly they're not yes/no questions. They're open questions, and that's great. But they're really quite probing questions. And they're really good questions. They're similar in a lot of ways to challenger selling. And simply mastering these questions will help you to succeed. But let me point out a small flaw in these questions. It's a small flaw, but it's also critical. And here it is. These questions explore the gaps the target business faces, the implications of those gaps, the questions about what's needed to fix those gaps, and some hygiene questions. All of these are good, but they're not all the same thing, and they're probably not for the same meeting. In gap acknowledged, if we draw a little from the SPIN methodology, you'd know that there's the problem and the implication. Problem questions like, have you given up trying to fix the problem? How committed are you personally to resolving the problem? Well, they're great, but they're all about the problem itself. Then, what lessons came out of the experience? How much did it cost you, and how did that make you feel? Now, they're really implication questions. And then we move into, what have you tried before to fix the problem we're discussing? Again, it's a good question because you're trying to flush out what it is they think they need, why it didn't work, and so you can reshape that need. Great questions, but they're all about the need. And there's also some general hygiene questions. Is there anything else I should know that would be helpful? Now, it's just a good question to ask in almost any meeting. I have no issue with any of those questions. They're brilliant, but they're potentially brilliant for different meetings, not the one meeting, and certainly not blended in that order. Let's take a lesson also from Conceptual Selling from Miller Hyman, another sales training company. They asked the question, what concept do you think the buyer has right now? What concept do you want to get them to at the end of this meeting? And what do you need to ask or show them to get them to that new concept? And I would align to that same idea. Clinically separating questions that get to the heart of the problem and questions that uncover and agree what's needed to solve that problem. Clinically separating is just critical. Don't let the conversation drift into a blend of these issues backwards and forwards. You know, you're taking me down a path and then I'm back out again and down a different path. Take them on a continuous journey. And frankly, know what that journey is. Know where you're trying to take them with each question. You're trying to move them constantly forward, not down holes and back up again. What we're really needing here is a framework for asking the right question in the right order. And I'll share that with you now. As you might have gathered, I like these questions, but I am siding with Miller Hyman on this one. Ask yourself before the meeting, if you can, what problem does this buyer already believe they have? Do they already agree that they have the right problem, the one that I can solve better than the other guy? If they do, then I can move on to need agreed. If they have a different concept, either of whether there's a problem at all or what the problem is, I need to go back. Because if the buyer's troubled about the wrong problem, I'm going to lose eventually, and I'd rather lose now. If you want a bit more content on asking questions in the right order about the right problem and why it's important to focus on the right problem, we've got lots of other blogs on that. And I want to share with you about that topic. But let's, for the moment, say that you know what problem you want them to be troubled about and the what the question is, are they ready? If they are, move on. If they're not, go back and do it again. So your meeting now is to get to the right problem. Next, ask whether the other buying influences, key buying influences, the high degree of influence buying influences are also at the same point. If they're not, do not progress. Get them to the same point. You need all the buying influences to believe that they have the right problem. Surface it, make it evident to them. Next, ask the question, does the buying influence that I'm meeting with right now agree that they have the need that I can meet uncommonly well? If they don't, there's simply no point proposing. And so my pain funnel question, if that's what you want to call them, need to be all around getting them to agree to the right need. The need that I can meet and the other guy can't. If I've already got my buying influence to that point, have I got my other buying influences to that same point? If not, get a sponsored meeting from the person who does agree to go meet with the others. You need all the buying influences to, firstly, as we've already talked about, agree to the problem, the right problem, and secondly, to the right need. If they think they need something other than what you do, don't propose. Get them to the right understanding of what they need. Remember, you're the expert, the right understanding of what they need well before you propose. So the questions need to move the buyer from where they are now to the right point. And the right point might be a progression of the journey, or it might be a revisit of the same stage because they've reached the wrong conclusions. Long story short, you need to ask the right pain funnel questions to get the buyer to the next stage in a buyer's journey. And the journey doesn't end after that first killer meeting. In your funnel plan, map out the buyer's journey. Choose tactics for every stage from finding names to closing deals. Design both the strategy and the tactics together: sales, marketing, finance and ops. Don't have a funnel plan? Get a free one at funnelplan.com. Get a free one now, or click on the little I on your screen, or just visit funnelplan.com. Lots more lined up for you for next week. Until then, may your funnel be full and always flowing. Our thanks this week to you for watching this week's show. Sandler's Pain Funnel, Getting Beneath the Surface. Check out their blog. Miller Hartman for Conceptual Selling. Here's a link to Conceptual Selling, to Lisbeth Penner for blog production, to John Ang for video production. My name's Hugh McFarlane, and it's been my absolute pleasure to have scripted and presented this week's show.